Today I'm going to be talking to you about an app called IXL. It's available in the App Store, Google Play, Kindle Fire, in a browser, so Chrome or Safari or whatever you use. And then in Chrome, so in Chromebook, you can find it in the Chrome Web Store. So let's get started. The app can be used for several different content areas. It can be used math, language arts, science, social studies, and Spanish. In both math and language arts, it can be used from pre-K all the way to 12th grade. I'll just show you that there. So see, it has all the different grade levels. And then in science and social studies, it's available 2nd grade to 8th grade. So those ones are not available all grades, but still quite a few. And then for Spanish, it's not necessarily done by grade level, but by skill, so it goes by unit. So you can use it for a variety. So let's look at math. So the app is not necessarily, it can't be personalized completely, but it is smart in that when you answer questions correctly, it moves you forward, but if you answer questions incorrectly, it will help you, it will kind of reteach you what you're missing, and then it will focus in on that area. So as you can see, the counting review, I mastered that. The counting to fill a 10 frame, I was working on it. I was just kind of messing around with it. So the nice thing about the app, though, is that for students, it can read the question to the students. So if you just press the little button here.
There are 6 dots on the frame. A full frame has 10 dots.
And it can also read this part.
How many more dots do you need to make 10?
So then obviously the answer would be 4, but say I got it wrong, I answered 3. And it says incorrect. And it can read this to you.
The correct answer is 4.
And then it also has a learn part, so it breaks it down where the student may have made the mistake, and then it moves forward. So then there's 8, so it needs 2, and then it moves you forward again. So up at the top where it has the 30, if I were to get this one wrong again, it will bring me back. So even though my questions are going up, it brings me forward and back, and then eventually it brings me to mastery. So this one, the counting review up to 10, it will start you over, but say I got all the way up to mastery, it'll bring me, this top blue bar will just fill up. So counting on the 100 chart, I was just kind of messing around with this one as well, and I was getting them all wrong. So say I just keep going wrong all the way through, keeps bringing me back. But then if I get something right, so this, put the right answer in, it'll bring me forward. So that's really nice because even though it's not necessarily personalized per student, it is smart in that it will modify the questions that are asked depending on the student's answers. So as I mentioned before, it's very user-friendly. It has the pictures next to the names of the subjects, and the questions are pretty easy to do. You have the big question that can read to you, a big submit bar, and then even with the older grades, it's the same idea. These ones, they don't all read to you, but it still has the same format. So it reads in the younger grades. So there's that. IXL is a really great resource for teachers too. It has this really great analytics part to it, which I think is really helpful as an assessment tool for their students. And another great thing about IXL is it does align with the state standards. So it says IXL is fully aligned to your standards. So since it does ask you like what state you're from, like what school district, which is nice because they're still learning according to the state that they live in. So for the analytics side of the app for as an assessment tool for teachers, if you go over to real time, it'll show you what your students are doing and how many students are using the app, if they're idle, if they need help, if they're practicing, and then how many they've done in the past hour. But if you go over to trouble spots, it'll show you where students have answered questions incorrectly. This is a really cool tool for teachers because you can still keep that kind of one-on-one feeling, but be able to get a good picture of everyone in your class. I really like how this is an app that does self-assess your students, so it's constantly changing to help your students and what they need, and help them succeed.